country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we
a
have
country
plenty of talented people
no,
here.
You don't. No, you
What?
Exactly, Motley.
What? All right. You girls have plenty to say. The yours is floors.
Let me just say this one thing real quick. At my work, they decided to move all of the regional offices into 3 cities because they said, and then they said, oh, well, no, we didn't say that. We didn't say that. They said that they couldn't get enough educated people in the rural areas, which is really insulting because people go to college all over the place. And there was literally 2 branch colleges just around the corner from where the office was. So there was educated people, and they hired, like, most of the town could say, oh yeah, we work here, or we work here, or we work here. There's like 3 places that people worked. And then they're like, oh, we can't get enough educated people here, so we're going to have to move to the city. And then they moved to the cities, and then they're like, why can't we keep people? It's just because, well, you're not the same company anymore. You're not the same, like, when I walked down the hallways of the office, I knew everyone from either school, church, like just local events, whatever. Like, I knew the people, and then they moved to a city and they like completely lose that vibe. And it's the same thing on a bigger scale. I'm really angry. Nora.
Okay, so 2 things.
baton.
One, just because they start at 5 and start making batteries does not mean that they are more educated. It just means that they have more time physically doing it, which is, we stop that practice for reasons. And then the other part is we have VOTEC for a reason. Start putting kids back into vocational training schools. Legitimately, you want them to have a skill set. Well, give them the proper tools and skill sets that they need. You want educated people in rural areas. Have training programs, have the opportunity. Like, okay, I understand logistically speaking, you can't take a program out to every specific rural area. However, like Rebel is saying, there are 3 specific cities. Bust them in for that training so they have that hands-on experience and that learning. Give them the opportunity to gain that knowledge, to be able to further their companies. Come on, people, make it make sense. We've done it before. Why is this so difficult? And oh my God, the blessing of the internet. If it is legitimately just a class that you need to sit there and listen and just absorb knowledge, sit at a fucking computer, do the class, get your certificate, and then go implement the knowledge. Become knowledgeable. Knowledge is power. Let's start putting that back in the hands of the American people and the American workers. Now, American workers, stop being fucking lazy and just expecting a damn check and go and learn something. Get off your asses and go learn something. Seriously.
We have more people in college than ever before, and apparently we don't have talented people. We don't have talented
because
people.
Most of them were going after liberal arts degrees. Those aren't talented people.
So now we have a bunch of people who have college degrees that are hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. What did you just knock over?
That can't actually do anything. Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm
This
for
is
trade
why
schools,
I
too.
want people to have vocational schools again.
Yeah.
We need to have them implemented in high school. So 16, 17-year-olds can get their hands on it and have at least 2 years of experience before entering the workforce. Because then they can continue that education.
If Donald Trump
Journeymen are fucking amazing. Let's go.
If Donald Trump
I went
had
to
said,
trade high school.
if Donald Trump had said, listen, the leaders of this country for the last 40, 50 years have outsourced our manufacturing, so we have a population that is not equipped with this skill set right now, and we need to make sure that they learn that over the course of this next generation. But until then, we have to bring in people who have this skill set. That's a very different thing than him going, no, we don't have any talented people here. We don't have anybody who's talented in doing that work, Laura. We don't. It's not true. We don't. It was just this. See, this is what I'm so angry about. Is like when he's gonna knock my camera down. When Vivek said this last December, everyone got on him. But I said, why are you guys only shitting on Vivek? Donald Trump agrees with him. He does. He agrees with what Vivek said. And Vivek got all the shit for it. But Trump absolutely agrees with the sentiment of that. Because, again, he is basically, in a normal world, Donald Trump is a Democrat. He is a moderate. So it's always great when we hear about how far right he is. He is the closest thing to a moderate we will ever have. But if you guys have more to say, I have to wrangle in this beast.
The terrorist.
Yeah, keep
Go
going.
get him.
Yeah, I loved going to trade school. I know that a lot of people look down on it, and like especially at the regular high school, like they really gave people that went to the vocational school a hard time. But there was a lot more value. Most of the senior class were out half of the day at actual jobs, making money, and starting their careers early. I was actually a student ambassador, so like I took people on tours all throughout the school, including like state officials, and like I knew about like a little bit about every class, and I think it's great. I think it's great, you know, like all the different things, like the seniors in building trades built a house for their senior project. People could bring in cars and do like the mechanical work or auto body. They ran a daycare
Yeah,
out of
see,
the high school.
We did the same thing. We had a VOTEC where first, second, and third hour you were so the high school is 1 through 6 class. So first, second, third, and then lunch, and then fourth, fifth, sixth after lunch. And so you either had the AM session or the PM session, and there was photography, they had cosmetics, they had first aid and CPR. You were learning how to be a first responder. Then there was also auto body shop, welding. They had small and big mechanic. And then I was in the photography class. They also had a culinary class. So all of us,
they made good food.
Oh my God, yeah. So all of us would be able to go and interact with each other, and we knew what everybody was doing. Oh, there was also child development too. So they had a daycare there. And
yeah, like the culinary arts, like they ran the cafeteria, so our food was like really good in the cafe. And then the seniors ran a restaurant, so people from the community could come in and eat at the restaurant, and they made money.
Yeah, see, they didn't go that far, but for the auto body, they would allow people from the community to come in and drop off their cars to allow them to work on it. And obviously the teacher was a certified mechanic and would not allow it to go out broken, but they would teach them how to actually fix and repair cars. They even had diesel mechanic, like they had big engine, small engine. They knew they were doing everything. And we had a woodworking class. Oh my God. They built the greenhouse that one of the other classes would use. Like
horticulture was a really cool one.
Started making their own food. They were growing their own food, and then they would sell the flowers that they were growing to the community to bring money back into the school. It was a wonderful thing, and I absolutely loved being a part of that program. Now, after I graduated, the program shifted, and they didn't have nearly as many classes, and that was because of funding from the community and school. The school district sucks now, but anyways,
you could
that's what happens
get your
when you
haircut
go
in
woke.
the cosmetology for like, I think it was $8.
Yeah,
like it was great. And like the medical students, they learn how to do stitches and CPR like in their first year. The first responder class actually would go out on mild calls with some of the paramedics. They would do ride-alongs. We had dental assisting too,
You know, there's
criminal
a
justice.
You know, I was thinking about I've been thinking about quarterback play in the NFL. I know this isn't necessarily related to being replaced with foreign workers, but I think it's somewhat related to not learning from an apprentice, or not being an apprentice, sort of not learning from somebody who's already in the trade. What used to happen when you were a quarterback and you got drafted is you'd sit for a year or two, and the guy in front of you would essentially teach you the ropes. And, you know, sometimes this older guy moves on to another team that needs a veteran quarterback, and then you start playing. And sometimes they get hurt, and then you come in. Tom Brady sat for his first year and a half behind Drew Bledsoe. And then when Drew Bledsoe got hurt, Tom Brady came in, and now he's the greatest quarterback of all time. Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre for 3 years. And, and nowadays you see kids get drafted out of college, and they get thrown in to start immediately. And a lot of them do not know how to play the game. There's a big problem when it comes to like teaching kids how to play sports in this country. The whole AAU basketball stuff. They teach people how to do moves. They don't teach them how to play. They teach them how to read. You got to teach people how to read and react. So when I think about the destruction of how they teach people how to play sports, it really does coincide with the lack of teaching people how to do practical things in society in general. So that's a problem. In addition to the fact that we need to hire people from other countries, we have people just aren't being taught the right way to do anything, really. And I don't know what we could say this comes down to education, but we have more money pumped into our education system than ever before. And it's very clear it's not doing what it's intending to do. People are in the most debt that they're ever in. People have the most college degrees they've ever had. And people can't find any work. They can't find any practical work. So there's this combo attack. And when I see all of these combo attacks happening at the same time, colluding on a single issue, it really feels like a plan. It's hard for me to just sit here and think, all this stuff just happens to be an accident. It feels like there's a greater plan at work here to replace American workers with cheap labor. And listen, when that cheap labor, they were talking about on Tyler's show earlier, when AI can replace that cheap labor, they won't need your labor anymore. And where do we go from there?
Yeah, but somebody needs to
UBI?
fix the AI.
What's going to happen when they literally don't need workers for any of this stuff? I mean, yes, they'll need workers to maintain the AI, but what's that, like one or two people? A couple of people? A handful of people? You know, I was talking to Misa in the voice chat, you know, talking about merch and stuff, and she was telling me how did people do this back then? How did they make clothing back then? It seems like such a hard thing to do from scratch. And it's like, because they don't have to have multiple people doing anything anymore. They got fucking machines that'll do this for you now. I mean, you used to, they have the sewing machine, makes the process quicker. That's a form of automation. That's like AI. That is a form of replacing, people doing it by hand and doing it by machine. Machine is an apparatus that we've invented to be convenient for people. But that convenience will be taken advantage of by the most powerful people, because unfortunately the most powerful people have this attitude of wanting to profit as much as possible. And I guess they have that right, but at the end of the day, there's that balance between, well, what do the people do when there's no jobs for us? What do we do then? And that's where we get into this Star Trek utopia of like, well, everyone's going to be on UBI and everyone's going to become like a content creator, and it's going to be a disaster. It's going to be even harder to be a content creator because it's going to be flooded with people who don't know what they're doing. It's kind of scary, and like, you know, I feel a little bit for you guys who have to raise kids, because this is a whole new frontier to navigate. This is a whole new frontier. You know, when you two were growing up, you didn't have to deal with the internet until you were like a teenager in your early 20s. It wasn't widespread like that. It's a whole new frontier, man.
No, I grew up with the internet. I grew up with dial-up.
Well, yes, but what I mean is like these kids have grown up with the internet in their hands.
Oh, yeah.
Like before my nephew,
I didn't start using it until I was like maybe a freshman in high school.
Before my nephew could really speak, he knew how to navigate YouTube. It's fucking scary. It's scary.
Yeah.
It's all.
See,
it's a whole new frontier. Number one.
My son is really, really great when it comes to electronics, and yet I didn't allow him to have electronics until he was like 5 or 6. So he was late to the game when it came to, you know, most of the kids his age. But I tried really hard to keep the iPad away from him.
Yeah.
I'm actually thinking about getting a sewing machine. And my mom would make us clothes when I was a kid. And I was thinking, like to make some clothes for the kids.
I have a sewing machine so I can fix things. But I also hand stitch, and my mom taught me that when I was a kid.
My mom did too. Like that and like cross stitch and embroidery. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, how many people know how to cross stitch anymore? How many people actually know how to do a good whip stitch?
Gracie says there was one reason people didn't have huge wardrobes. Clothes were expensive because they were handmade. And yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, but that's what that's like the give and pull with like automation is like now it's more widespread. You can diversify your wardrobe. You can have more. You can have more. And that's kind of like that illusion of choice that we have that we talked about with that George Carlin skit. It's the illusion of choice. Well, now we can have many clothes brands, but we can only vote for two parties. So we have a lot of a little, and we don't have. We have a little of a lot, if you know what I mean.